Right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Warren's Team Talk. I hope you're well today and having a great day. Thank you very much for coming and tuning in. And today we have got the final episode in my little mini series of the Arsenal 2021-22 season review. It's part 4, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. And it's the final episode for this, so hopefully it's going to be fun, and I hope you're going to really enjoy it. And Del Boy Gunner's put a chat in already, and he says, "Let's smash the likes for our mate Warren." Yes. That would be fantastic, people. If you could do that, please hit the like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, please do that. That would be really helpful. And also make sure you find at least one person to share it with. Give them a little present of one of my videos. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, so let's get into it and let's see what we're going to have a little chat about. So Bargav's in, he says, "Big up, Warren. Hi, mate. I hope you're good. Nice to see you." And he says, "Big up, Warren again." Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, mate. Thanks for coming. I hope you're going to enjoy this. So this is what we're going to talk about today. All right. We're going to look at the team performance statistics. Last time we looked at individual players' performance statistics. This time we're going to look at the team as a whole. Then we're going to look at the club's financials, their what they did with their incomings and outgoings in the transfer market, expenditure-wise, and so on, and see how they fared with that. Then we're going to have a little chat about Arsenal supporters and the management, and we're going to also have a look about what I think is going to come, what's going to happen in the upcoming season. So that'll be interesting, because I think we're going to have I think we're going to have an interesting season ahead of us. All right, so let's see what happens. Anyway, so let's get on with it without further ado. Any chit chat and nonsense, and let's get on with it. So the team statistics for the season that's just finished. So the average Premier League season rating. Now, this is based on the ratings that people put in for Arsenal on the BBC Sport website. At the end of every game, you can go in there and you can give each player a rating out of 10. All right. So the ratings that I managed to get were from that website for every single game. I was collecting them throughout the whole season. And then I took an average at the end to find out who the player of the season was. And as we saw in part 3, that player was Kieran Tierney. So let's have a look at the average season rating for Arsenal. As a team, their average rating for the season was 5.47. Now, for me, I don't know about everyone else, but that is absolutely shocking. It's shocking. It's just not acceptable. If you want to be competing for all the best honours in the game, you need to be getting far more than that. That is really mediocre at best. At best, people. So yeah, I'm not happy about that at all. I think it's absolutely disgusting. So there you go. That's it. That was the average season rating. Now, week by week, our league position. We started off the season, and after the first 3 games, we were bottom, and then we slowly started to climb up the table. And by week 7, we got to 9th. Then we fell back down to 12th in week 8. And then by week 9th, we ended up at 5th. Our best ever position throughout the season was 4th, which we achieved on week 16. We stayed there for about 4 weeks, and then we slipped down to 5th. to sixth and went back up to fifth. And we just yo-yo between fifth, sixth and fourth throughout the course of the season, really, after that. And then finally, as we all know, it all came to a crashing halt right at the end of the season when the wheels came off quite dramatically, and we ended up in sixth. Now, at one point in this season, we had games in hands and we were points ahead, and we still managed to mess it up. So, sorry, that's not good enough. It's not. I'm sorry. People keep going on about he's the greatest manager, greatest young manager in the game, and all the rest of it. No, not in my book. He's not. I think he's been an abject failure from the moment he stepped through the door. He should never have been given the job. This is Arteta I'm talking about. He shouldn't have been given the job. He should have, if he wanted to get into management, he should have gone and learnt his trade in the lower leagues and worked his way up from there. Arsenal isn't a further education college at the end of the day, and it's an absolute shambles. And there's inexperience right the way through the club, from the top to the bottom. It's an absolute shambles. It really is. So let's have a look bit more into these team performance statistics. Now, throughout the course of the season, we scored 61 goals and conceded 48, which meant we scored 1.61 goals a game, and we conceded 1.26 goals a game. We had average shots per game of 15, and average shots on target, we managed to get 5 on target a game on average. And then what we do from that is we look at the amount of goals that we scored as a ratio from shots on goal, and that was 11.67%. So when we had a shot on goal, 11.67% of the time that got converted into a goal. I'm sorry, that's shocking. So 15. That means we had 15 shots, and out of those 15 shots, we'd only score 1.5 goals max. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. And then average shots. Then we had shots on target to goals conversion. We would convert 33% of the chances that we created or had on target into goals. So that means it was about 1.5, something like that. It's just not acceptable. It isn't. And I'm sorry, but that is down to Arteta's coaching, which I think has been a major issue ever since he's been at the club. And it's led to lots of problems. He seems, I think he's completely, him and his coaching staff are clearly completely out of their depth, and they're not competent to do the job. No forward player, in my opinion, has progressed in an acceptable fashion. They're certainly not progressing at the rate they should do. People we point to, Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka, they done fairly well. But I'm telling you, if they were at another club, like a Manchester City or Liverpool, they would have progressed far more than what they are with this person. And I just think it's unacceptable. Most players have regressed. Look at the Kieran Tierney, how he's regressed since he's moved from Celtic. And I don't want to hear this bullshit about, he's playing in a lot tougher league. All right? I don't. He won trophy after trophy after trophy when he was at Scotland, at Celtic. And then look what happens when he goes and plays for the Scotland national team. his performances go up several notches when he's playing for them, because he's been let off the leash and he's playing in a team that's allowing him to express himself, and he's being coached properly, not like it is at his club, where this clown of a manager hasn't got a fucking clue what he's doing, and it's harming people's careers. It really is. And the coaching at this club is absolutely shocking. Now, if we look at the goals and shots conceded, we had 11 shots on average conceded a game, and we conceded 4 shots on target per game, which meant that we conceded, the goals conceded to shots conceded conversion rate, i.e. the amount of goals that we conceded from shots that the opposition had, was about 11.46. So it's more or less about the same as the amount that we scored. And then the average shots on target, the average amount of goals that were conceded by us for the amount of shots that we conceded on target was 36.03, which was marginally higher than what our conversion rate was from shots on targets to goals. All right. Now, Arsenal's average possession in games, so the amount of possession we had of the ball, was 52.72%. And then our record against the top 4 in the season that's just gone, this shows the league table as it was. Actually, it's the actual top 5. So our record compared with those 4 clubs, so you can see it there. We played 38 games. We won 22. We drew 3, lost 13. We scored 61 goals, which was 1.61 goals a game. We conceded 48, which was 1.28 goals per game conceded. And our goal difference was 13. We got 69 points. And our points per game was 1.82. Now, if you look at Tottenham, right, our neighbours down the road, their goal difference was it was more than double what ours was. Their goal difference was plus 29. Ours was 13. They got two more points than we did, and they scored more goals than what we did, and they conceded less. So they had a much better season, albeit that they lost 11 games, which is not great at all. But I'm telling you what, they won't lose 11 games next season, that's for sure. And not with Conte as their boss. Chelsea, they scored 76 goals, which was 15 more than us. And they actually conceded 15 less than us as well. So, they were easily far superior to us. And they their goal difference was 3 times better than ours. So their goal difference was plus 43. Ours was plus 13. And they got 74 points. The real stark difference is when you compare the top 2 to us, right? Now, Liverpool only lost 2 games and Manchester City lost 3, right? City scored 99 goals. Liverpool scored 94. We scored 66. That's half as much again as what we did. And it's just not acceptable. We are the 3rd best team in the history of English football. And we should be challenging those 2 for titles and cups every single year in, year out. And look at it. It's pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. And I don't want to hear, oh, it's a process, you need to give them time. No, 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 no. I don't hear any other team in world football going on about how their squad needs time, or that they're in a process, or this, or oh, it's this, oh, it's that. No, they just fucking get on with it and deliver. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. Get out on the pitch and fucking deliver. And if you can't deliver and you're not up to the job, fucking get out. Simple as that. So, Jez is in the chat, and Jez says hi, Warren, and hi, Del Boy. Hi, Jez. I hope you're good. Loved your show last night, man. Absolutely superb stuff. So, yeah, fair play to you, mate. And so our record compared against the Big Six last year. So this was our head-to-head record against all the sides, against the Big Six sides in the English Premier League. So that's Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United and Spurs, right? How we fared against them in a mini league, if you like, in the games that we play. So that league was won by Man City. They won it by 2 points from Liverpool. So the only games that count in this are the games that these sides played against each other, right? They got 20 points and they had a goal difference of plus 14. Liverpool were unbeaten, actually, in that league, but they did draw a lot. They drew 6 and they got 18 points. And interestingly, they both, City and Liverpool, both scored 21. And Liverpool conceded 2 more than City did. So that's where the problem was. And also the fact that Liverpool drew too many games. Chelsea, they only won 3, drew 4 and lost 3. And ended up with 13 points. United, they were 4th. They won 10. Sorry, they played 10, obviously. They won 3, drew 2 and lost 5. A goal difference of -4 and got 11 points. Arsenal, we ended up in 5th. And we won 3, lost 7. We had a goal difference of -11 and got 9 points. 1 point ahead of Tottenham, incidentally. And yeah, so that I thought that was quite interesting. And it just shows how far ahead the other, City and Liverpool are of the rest of us, even when we're playing them. And you look at that. We lost the most games in that little league. We lost 7. Then it was Tottenham with 6. Then United with 5. But the interesting thing was Liverpool didn't lose a game. They just drew too many. So there you go. I thought that was interesting. I thought people might want to see that. And Manny's in the chat. Manny says, hello, sir. Sorry I'm a little late, but I was not missing this. No, mate, you're absolutely fine. It's thank you for coming. And Manny says, and hello to everyone else, Mr. Collins, Dell and Bargav. Thank you very much, Manny. Lovely to see you. So this was the final league table. As we can see, we just missed out on the top 4. And we spoke about that last time. And we're going to briefly touch on it a little bit later as well. And then United were in 6th. West Ham were in 7th. Leicester recovered in the end and managed to finish 8th because they had an awful season. I doubt they'll perform so badly this upcoming season, but you never know. Jez says, Manny, Bargave, how are you guys? And so let's have a look at the last 10 year finishes in the Premier League. Compare that to how we did this year, right? So this current year, we finished 5th. We got 69 points. We scored 61 goals and conceded 48. The year before, under Mikel Arteta again, our defence performed better than it did this year. And allegedly, there was an issue with the defence, which he'd sorted out. Well, clearly, going by that, he hasn't. We scored 55. We conceded 39 last season. And we ended up in 8th. And then the year before, the season was shared by Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta. We finished 8th. We scored 56, which was one better than the previous year in the 2020-21 season. We conceded 48, which incidentally was the same as it was this season. And we got 56 points. And again, we finished 8th. So in Unai Emery's only season in charge, we scored 73 goals, which was comfortably better than anything that Mikel Arteta has been able to achieve since he's been manager. And we conceded 51 and we finished 5th. Now, the interesting thing for me about that is we got a manager there who came in. He didn't get given the players he wanted. For me, he wasn't backed. And he was just an emergency interim manager until they were able to get their hands on Mikel Arteta. And he got us within 2 points of 3rd place and into the final of a Europa League, which is something. And we scored 73 goals. It's something that this current manager that we've got hasn't even come close to achieving. So I just find it interesting about why everyone keeps attacking Unai Emery, and yet they're allowing this clown to get away with the most ridiculous and bizarre behaviour. And I just find it, I find it a bit disturbing, actually, the amount of protection that this fella gets compared with what Unai Emery did. I just think I'm all about fairness and equality, and clearly he isn't enjoying the same level of support as what Unai Emery did. Clearly, the man wasn't wanted in the first place, as far as I'm concerned, and that goes to prove it. So let's have a look at the chat. Static Zen, he says, "Hey Warren, hi mate, nice to see you." Manny says, "Jez, good, thank you sir. Hope you're well too." Manny says, "Static, big up to you. All right." Manny again says, "Big up to you. All right." And Manny says, "Hey, I'm fine. I hope you're well." Lots of chats there for Static and Manny. So that's good to see. Hope you're well, guys. Thank you for popping in and watching the stream. I hope you're enjoying it. Anyway, so let's move on. So in that regard, then, for me, it's clear. It was complete and utter failure. So let's move on. Let's have a look at the financials. So this is all about the incomings and outgoings of money through the transfer window. So amount of money that we spent on for incoming transfers was 149 million. We received just over 26 million near enough 26.5 million for the sale of one player. And that gave us a loss of 122, just over 122.5 million pound. The total paid for incoming transfers, 149 million, as we just saw, and the current value of the incoming transfers for this season that we had is 140,400,000. So we've already lost over £8.5 million on the players we brought in the season just gone. And the total value of all the players that we got out on loan is £123 million. I just find that absolutely staggering. I really do. It's just like they're throwing money around like it's bloody confetti on absolute dross. And we spent £149 million last season in incoming transfers, and the squad is no stronger than what it was before the transfer business started, and I'd even argue that it's weaker in a lot of areas. So there you go. So there's the first team squad, and we're going to have a look now at the value of some of these players, or of the players in the first team squad, and how they've gone up and down. So Bernd Leno, we paid £22.5 million for him. He's currently worth 8.1, so that's a loss of 14.4. Runner Alex Runnerson, we paid £1.8 million for him. He's now worth £1.08 million. That's a loss of £720,000. Aaron Ramsdale, we paid £25.2 million for him. His current value is £25.2 million, so his value stayed the same. And then finally, Arthur Okonkwo, he came up through the youth academy, and he's now worth £1.35 million. So we made £1.35 million profit on him. So and Static says we're on 100% facts. Last 10 years, top gooners ignore that we have gotten worse. Laugh out loud. It's true. We have got worse. We really have. And I still think it was an absolute miracle what Unai Emery did with the squad that he had. And I'm convinced that if he'd been back to the level that Arteta has, we would have been in a title race this season if he was still manager. I'm really convinced of it. I might be deluded. I might be mad. I don't know. But I'm convinced because I think he's a way better manager than this guy we've got in control at the moment. Del Boy Gunner says, hi, Ron, and all in the chat. Hi, Del Boy. Nice to see you, mate. And Del Boy says, hi, Static, Manny, and Jez. And Static says, Del Boy Gunner TV. Hey, Del Boy, great reaction to your video yesterday. Yeah, Del Boy, that video was wild. And everyone, please make sure you go and subscribe to Del Boy Gunner TV, and also to Jesse Collins's Arsenal, the History and More. Absolutely, both of them fantastic channels. And yeah, Jesse's doing really well. He's absolutely smashing it with his channel, as is Del Boy. So I'm really, really pleased for him. So fair play to him. Static says, wow, look at that money wasted. Exactly. It's absolutely shocking, Static. Del Boy Gunner TV, it's a disgrace. Someone has to answer to this. Absolutely. Someone needs to be held to account, and this is the problem at that club. No one is held to account. I said it a couple of days ago. I don't know who it was I said it, or who I said it to, or where I said it. But it's like, in England, there's an expression which says, while the cat's away, the mice will play. And this is exactly a perfect example of it. Stan's not really that interested in what's going on, so they're just running amok. They don't care. It's not their money. They don't give a shit about the club. That's clear. And they're just like, well, as long as we're getting paid and we've got a job, well, who cares? And I'm sorry, it's not good enough. Static Warren, sorry, the money lost is ridiculous. It's crazy, mate. And Jez says, Del Boy Gunner TV, yes, great show last night, mate. Static, all good, no complaints, says Manny. Del Boy Gunner TV. Jez, your show was class last night. It was, mate. It really was. Anyone who hasn't seen it, go and check it out. He had Kenny Ken. He had Gracie May. He had Northside London. And he had Lee Gunner. And it was absolutely superb. They were chewing the fat about the state of the club and all the rest of it. It was superb. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Money says, I don't know if this has been mentioned, but Emery's lack of fluency in English was always going to be a factor. That side was probably overqualified for us. I don't think it needed to be a factor at all. The fella at Leeds managed to get away with it for a long time. Loads of other managers employ interpreters, so I don't really see why it should be an issue. I think that's just a smokescreen, to be quite fair, to be quite honest. It's only an issue if they want it to be an issue. And I don't know whose decision it was not to have an interpreter, but I don't think his English was that bad. He certainly wasn't that bad when he was doing press conferences. So if he could talk to those clowns in a press conference, I'm sure he could get his ideas over to players. I just don't think that they were interested in listening to him. He was probably overqualified for us. Yeah, I think he probably was. Static says, Warren, no way you speak facts. Emery was never got backed in the first place. If only he was. Mate, if he had been, I reckon we would have been in a title challenge by now. If he'd spent the amount of money that Arteta has, then definitely we would be. James Steele says, it's daylight robbery, making us a laughing stock. And most fans made to feel grateful and laughing it up. Embarrassing and ruining players' careers. 100%, mate. And that's what's happening. Like, the amount of players who've regressed under his management is just absolutely shocking. It is. It's shocking. Like, I can only think of one or two players who've improved. And they haven't improved that much either. Not at the rate they should have done. If you'd taken Smith Rowe or any of these players out and put them into another club, they would have performed way better and their careers developed far better than what they have under this joker. That's for sure. Manny says, that's the issue, sir. They chose to make it an issue and maybe they felt his personality wasn't a good fit. Bunch of charlatans, the board. Mate, listen, for me, if he wanted to make an issue out of it, I think he could have taken them to the cleaners for constructive dismissal. He really could have done, because the way he was treated was absolutely shocking. And I've seen people treated far better than he was and walk out of organisations with hefty paychecks in their hand, payoff checks in their hand. And he could have done that, but fair play to him, he didn't want to do it. James still says, and no one wants to come to this club while these clowns are in charge. And they won't. They won't. And I bet you that half of these people that we've been linked to have sort of said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Joshua Collins, hi all, different opinion to the chat, but was never sure about Emery. His in-game tactics were very suspect at times, but agree he was never backed and was not respected from the start by everyone. No, he wasn't backed. 100%, mate. You're absolutely right about that. I don't agree about the in-game tactics, because if things weren't working, he would change it quick smart. Not like other managers we've had and just leave it and leave it and leave it. But yeah, the rest of it, I agree with you. He was disrespected and he wasn't backed. He came into the club and within 3 games at the start of the season, he'd worked out that Ozil was a problem, and he dropped him from the starting 11. And I reckon he probably got told, no, you've got to play him, because then short while after that, he was back in the squad again. So that's another example of how he wasn't backed. Warren Bielsa for Leeds spoke no English at all. Exactly. But his translator and coaches leads definitely helped him quite a lot. Yes, Static, mate. You're 100% right. And Del Boy says, would Emery get a tune out of his current squad? He'd make a better fist of it than Arteta, and it all depends whether they'd listen to him, respect him. That's the problem. And the issue is, unfortunately for Emery, I love the fella, and I think he'd be a much better coach than this current clown. But the issue is, if it's not working, which clearly it wasn't, because the players weren't listening to him, there's only ever going to be one outcome, and that was the manager going out the door. But I personally think, with the backing that Arteta has had, if Emery had been kept on, we would be in a title challenge. No doubt about it, 100%. Right, so let's look at the defenders. So the defenders, as you can see, in total, the defenders, we paid 132.84 million. Their current value is 171.9, which means we've made a profit of 39.06 million on the defenders at the club. And yeah, there's not much to really say about that. Then the midfielders, we paid in total 169.79 million, and their current value is 238.5. So it means that we've made a profit of 68.71 million. But as you can see, there's like 3 players there who came up through the youth academy, which was Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, and Ainsley. And in total, those 3, that's best part of 84. Yes, about over £100 million that you're talking about there. So, you know, you take them 3 out of the equation and you're back in negative figures again. So, you know, Static says, who do you want to replace Arteta? I want Diego Simeone, mate. I know people go on about his negative tactics and whatnot, but I think he'd get a much better tune out of this side, and it wouldn't be negative for us watching our team being successful, because I think he'd have them. I think he'd get them winning games of football, and that's what it's all about. Bargav says that period. No, it's in past, but I do think Raul and others set us back. Maybe it all contributed to it. And, yeah, Raul has got big questions to answer. And let's not forget he had his hand in the till, apparently. Manny says, amazing that we made profit on the defence considering the 50 million quid we shelled out for Ben White. Yeah, it is. And Del Boy says, hi, Bargav. And Bargav says, hey, Jizz, Del Boy, Gunner, TV, and Static. But Manny Thandagura, but the striker's absolute waste of money. Money spent and lost. Right, now, so let's look at the strikers, okay? We spent 183.47 million. and they're currently worth 109 million. So that's a loss of 74.12 million. Now, part of it is because it may be that they're coming towards the end of their contracts, but it also, to me, indicates that a lot of these players aren't progressing or developing. Yeah, you got two players there over the age of 30 as well, and they're probably coming towards the end of their careers. But even having said that, the other ones are still, we got Pepe there. The club's lost almost £50 million on that player, right? And it's because he's not being coached properly. And a lot of it, if these players were being coached properly, they would be progressing, and that would mean that their value would increase. So to me, it's an indicator that there's a problem with the coaching. And I don't know whether any of you were on a stream a few weeks ago when I brought up about the coaching, and someone in the chat, I don't know who it was, I've said that they'd heard that there was a problem at the club as well with the coaching, and that is a very good concrete example or proof of that, because if they were improving to the way they should be, then their values would be a lot higher. And also as well, which is quite staggering when you consider that there's 3 players there on those forward lists who came up through the youth academy, which means we didn't pay anything for them, and we still lost money, right? You got Reece Nelson, Florian Balogun, and Eddie Nketiah, right? Well, we signed him from Chelsea, but as a youth player, but we didn't have to pay anything for him because they just released him, all right? So it's them 3 together, they're worth about £25 million. So, and we paid peanuts for Gabriel Martinelli, and he's now worth over 35 million, and we're still in the red with the strikers. It's absolutely shocking. So the financial change is summary, right? Goalkeepers were lost 15.12 million. Defenders were in the black by 39 million. Midfielders in the black by 68.71. We're in the red by 74 million for the strikers. In total, that means we're in profit by 18.53 million pounds. So for me, it's not good. It indicates that there is a problem with the development of players at this club. So again, final judgment for me, failed again. So let's move on to the supporters. Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? So the problem with our supporters is that they don't put any pressure on the club. Lots of supporters seem to be happy with mediocrity. They're happy to trundle along, competing to get themselves in the Champions League or competing to try and get in the Europa League. They're not bothered about winning titles or trophies. They keep banging on about processes and projects and all this stuff, and that we need to be patient. And no other team, and I don't know of any other team in world football that goes on and pumps out so much PR about there being a process or a project or anything like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the backing that this management team get is absolutely ridiculous. And the excuses and the acceptance of failure is shocking. I saw some guy this morning tweeting out that, it was inevitable that we were going to miss out on Rafinha once Chelsea came in for him. Why? Why aren't we competing to try and get him? Why aren't we putting up a fight? I'm sorry, but that attitude, that weak like spineless attitude sums up this bloody football club and our supporters in a nutshell. And that was from someone who I actually used to respect. But he's sold his soul to the devil and has been bought off because I'm sure he's one of these clowns that are getting paid by the club now. And they're just accepting it. It's just absolutely disgusting. Then we got the Arsenal fans' behaviour during or before transfer windows. So they, like, if we get linked to a player, they're tracking planes, they're tracking buses, they're tracking coaches, they're tracking taxis. They know who they slept with the night before. They know how many kids they've got. They know what their sperm count is. They know where they went to school. They know where they scored, and they know everything about their game. Even though they don't, they make it up. They reckon that they've seen him play. These people, like some of these, so many other people have said, they must be sitting in a room with about 70 odd different screens, all watching the game at the same, all these different games all the same time. They know about all these players across all of world football. It's an absolute fucking shambles. And do they think that people are absolutely stupid, that they can't see that they're talking absolute bollocks? I'm sorry, but it is. It's bollocks. And then, you know, these ridiculous, outlandish and ridiculous comments, and just, it's unbelievable. Like Mikel Arteta being the greatest manager ever. I'm sorry, but it's absolute fucking shambles. So Craig Malloy said, Ty, big up. And Ty says, hi, Del Boy. Nice to see you, Ty. I hope you're well, mate. Manny says, Joshua Collins agreed, mate. Big up to you, by the way. And Craig Malloy, Del Boy, big up, man. Big up. And Warren, I doubt Fuad has any general intelligence like that. Well, I just think he's a fraud. I don't believe half the stuff that comes out of his mouth. Sarah Wingrove says, afternoon, Warren. Hi, Sarah. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great day. Craig Malloy, afternoon, Sarah. And hi, Craig. Says Sarah. I hope you're well, mate. Delboy Gunner TV. Hi, Sarah. Manny says, hello, Sarah. I hope you're well. And Taib says, hi, Sarah. See, Sarah, you're getting loads of love in the chat. That's nice. Sarah, I'm good, thank you, says Craig. Right, so yeah, so, you know, ridiculous comments like that. Absolute waster. That guy, what is his name? Fucking Julian or whatever it is, claiming that Arteta was the greatest manager ever. And then he came on to Del Boy's channel one night when we did this. Del Boy did a phone in, and Del Boy had him come on. And while he was chatting to him, I put comments in the chat saying, you claimed that Arteta was the greatest manager ever, and he tried to claim that he never said it. Well, mate, I've got proof that you did say it. All right, so you know, there's just these ridiculous excuses and claims made for and about Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are just absolutely ridiculous. They really are. And it's embarrassing. And Sarah says, I'm good, thank you, guys. And the Rafinha Chelsea thing had me so wound up, like such a lack of pride. We're supposed to have competitive pride. Yeah, but a lot of our fans don't. Like that clown I was telling you about just now. And James Steele says, Julian, what a Burkington hunt. Exactly. 100%, mate. That's a perfect way to describe it. I'm sure Julian was just taking the mickey when he said that, but it's stupid how much he supports the Arteta Bull Dodger. mate, I don't know what it was, but he said it, and he was quite he seemed quite sincere in his thoughts about that. Let's put it that way. Well, not sincere, but he seemed like he was believing what he was saying, and which just goes to prove what a great actor he is. Taib says, Warren, I know this might sound random. Well, you know, Arteta is the greatest ever manager. It is more random than anything I've heard this year. But when I was growing up, my parents never made a real effort to learn English. I appreciate the language so much, and it's so important. Well, fair play to you, mate. Good on you. Arteta got manager of the month. The delusion is contagious, says James. It is. He won it twice last year, didn't he? Sharon says, Julian never stands by the delusion crap he says, mate. It's just shocking. It really is. Go on, Ron. Get him. Julian says, doll boy. Yeah, I ain't finished with that clown yet, mate. Don't worry about that. And Sarah says, at least we stand by what we say. Yeah, and I'll always stand by it. I will never, ever change my tune about it. So here we go, guys. So I'm just going to show you something now. And this guy, Julian, is constantly humiliating himself by making the most ridiculous and deluded comments. So let's just have a look at this.
Negative. I tend to look at things from a wider perspective. You asked me this question August the 1st, 2020. I say he's the greatest manager ever. He's come in after a few months and he's won us the FA Cup, and we've played some of the greatest teams in the world to win that FA Cup.
Greatest manager ever is a big off an FA Cup win is a big statement.
Yeah, but for what you've done.
So there you go, guys. You heard what he said. Greatest manager ever. So, you know, and then we had people in Islington Town Hall jumping up on tables and fucking singing that stupid song about that guy on the screen. It was just absolutely embarrassing. And Static says, you also forgot the toxic negative fans that track players, driver's license plates and tyres and tyre tracks. Yes, mate. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, because that in itself is a massive issue. Because the reason it's an issue is because when I'm sure that any player with any sense is going to look at that and think, right, if they're behaving like that now, when I'm sort of discussing whether or not I want to go there, what the hell is it going to be like when I'm actually playing for the club? You know, are they going to, like, you know, turn on me and, like, not give me any peace and privacy if it starts going wrong? Do you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. It really is. And it's embarrassing. And I find it quite disturbing, actually, that these people behaving like that. Julian can't be worse than Fuad. Well, I'd like to see if we could measure their levels of the delusion to see which one is worse. Tayyip, but I don't know how you would do that, but I'd like to. Manny says, what's stupid about the supporters is that they compare us to Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa, former European champs who suffered relegation and have fought back. We're not in that position yet, with exclamation marks. And the key to that comment you just put in, Manny, is the very last word you put in, yet, because I don't think we're far off it, mate, if it continues the way it is. Static says, Warren, destroy the actor. He's still complaining about the trailer about fans that he said Arteta out. What a fool. Mate, he is a fool. And that he tried to claim that he never said Arteta was the greatest manager ever. Everyone in this chat today and who will watch this on playback will see that he said it. So he can't escape from it. If you're going to make these ridiculous, stupid comments, don't be doing it on camera where people can film you, because it will come back and haunt you, and it will, because I ain't letting him get away with it or forgetting it. And Manny says Arteta fluked that FA Cup win and then dismantled that side. Yeah, because it was populated by players that Unai Emery brought to the club. He's obviously got some issue with Unai Emery. I don't know what it is. I just don't understand. You know, and all the players that Unai Emery or who were brought into the club when Unai Emery was managing the club have been outed. And the only one who hasn't, I think, so far is Kieran Tierney and Pepe. But I think Pepe will be gone this summer. And I've heard that Manchester City are sniffing around Kieran as well. And if they come in for him, if I was him, I'd be saying, right, where do I sign? Simple as. Ty says, what a plonker, laugh out loud. Yeah, exactly, mate. Is Julian Arteta with no? Yeah, probably. Said, oh boy, absolutely. I probably think he is, mate. And Craig Malloy, Julian reminds me of Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. 100%, mate. That's excellent, Craig. Nice one. And Static says, Ryan Facts is very disturbing. It is disturbing because, you know, when these people are backing this manager, I think the root cause of it, of why they're doing it, has got nothing to do with football. I honestly believe that. I don't know what it is, why they're doing it, but I don't think it's got anything to do with football, because it can't possibly, can it? So it's just ridiculous. So Arsenal fans and Arsenal Football Club, as it is currently, I'd just say it was love is blindness, to be quite honest. I think that sums it up quite well, because they're blind to the truth. And so, you know, in essence, in summary, I would say love is blindness. It's failed again. So before we do that, though, I just... Oh, what's going on? So that video that we just watched is of a group of Arsenal fans, a large group of Arsenal fans, behaving absolutely despicably in Islington Town Hall. Well, I believe I've been told it was in Islington Town Hall, and they're jumping up on tables, singing that awful, stupid, bloody song, and embarrassing themselves and the club. It's just unbelievable, and it just really sums up our supporters in a bloody nutshell. That they were singing that song in a run-up towards the end of the season, when we were sort of points clear and games in hand of our competitors for the top four, and that's what happened. And where are we? So, yeah, I was referring to fans tracking players and arriving to the club. Laugh at that. Yeah, it is. It's really disturbing. Static says, Warren, great ending. Love is blindness. It is. And Ty said, embarrassing. Sarah Wingrove says, AFTV and Julian only do it for the views. not for the love of their club, makes me sick. 100% makes me sick as well, because they're not being honest about it. Static says, I feel sick. You're not the only one, mate. I thought long and hard about putting that video in, but for me, it makes a really strong point. Oh dear, says Taib. And Del Boy Gunner says, that fucking song. Exactly, mate. It's horrible. Ron, I'm sorry, all of them need to be locked up. How dare they go to the town hall and sing that? None of them deserve to be Arsenal fans at all. No ambitions, no standards. Manning, that die did not age well. Right, I don't understand, mate. Sorry. Did not. Yeah, exactly. Right, so let's move on. So what we're going to look at now, we're going to look at some real Arsenal fans from back in the day. And these guys are at the 1930 FA Cup final.
To Wembley. The legend was beginning to unfold. Saturday, April the 26th, 1930, Wembley's Empire Stadium was packed. Arsenal's opponents none other than Huddersfield Town, the same club Chapman had led to 3 successive championship triumphs before moving south.
So, there we have it. For me, real Arsenal fans singing at Wembley Stadium before the 1930 FA Cup final. And I can guarantee you this, right? None of those guys would be celebrating us finishing 4th or celebrating the mediocrity in the way this fan base do now. In fact, they would be ashamed to associate with them. And every time I see that video, it makes me so sad and upset. And I'm struggling now not to cry because it hurts so much. Really fucking hurts when I see the real fucking fans that we used to have. That stadium there, you saw it, is Wembley, right? Packed to the rafters with Arsenal fans, all singing in unison in one, the traditional FA Cup final hymn. A fucking hymn, by the way, that was booed and fucking drowned out in this season's cup final. Those fans who fucking did that are a disgrace and should be banned from football for life. Absolutely disgusting. But these fans of ours, I'm sorry, they just haven't got a fucking clue about this club, its history, and it fucking sickens me. And we got a man in the chat, Jez, he's trying his hardest to get the message out there about what a great club our club is and educate people about it, because the club aren't fucking interested. They're not. And he's doing a fantastic job, and I love him for it. And please, everyone who's not subscribed to him already, please go and check him out, because his videos are absolutely superb. And it's so important. And when you've watched one of his videos, share it around to other people as well, because he's doing a fantastic job. He really, really is. So thank you, Jez. And Jez says, my granddad was at the 1930 FA Cup final. There you go, see? And what an absolute legend. Absolute fucking legend. And those fans would be ashamed to associate with those people who were singing that fucking stupid song. They really would have done. And James still says, real fans, not fair weather fans. Exactly, mate. So, real fans who want to win a success And I put on there as well, Victoria Concordia Crescit. All of us know what that means. And it's a shame that our supporters aren't interested in winning now. Because they just said when you talk to them about it, well, it's not really realistic, is it? Fucking fight. Fight. If you go down and you don't achieve it, at least you fucking had a go. Come on now. Show some balls. Show some fucking fight and spirit. And James, real fans, not fair weather fans. Manny says, abide with me. Yeah, it's the traditional cup final hymn. It's played every year at Wembley just for the start of the cup final and the national anthem. Static says, excellent video of 1931. Yeah, and I had to put it in because it shows a stark difference between what our real Arsenal fans are about and what these clowns that we've got at the moment are. Gives me goosebumps watching that. Exactly. And I get real goosebumps from watching that, Sarah, because I've heard the amount of people going on about that stupid bloody new anthem by that guy who... There's no mention of fucking Arsenal in that song. I think there's like 2 lines somewhere hidden in it about Arsenal, but that's it. Honestly, it's absolutely shocking. They just want to discredit anything that happened before that fucking badge, our beautiful badge, was gotten rid of. It just makes me sick. Ty says mothers have given birth to too many floods within the fan base. That's why we cannot reach the same levels as the past when we had success. Exactly. And these people, half of them, for me, they're not genuine. They're not. I don't think they're interested in Arsenal. The fact that they're not interested in learning about the history or about the club proves it. Because if you're heavily into something, you want to know all about it, right? You want to find out about X, Y, and Z. Everything there is to know, you want to know, right? And that was it was the same for me when I was growing up as an Arsenal fan. I wanted to know all about its history. I wanted to know who the great players who were. I wanted to know about Ted Drake. I wanted to know what happened in that game in the 30s when an England team played the Italian world champions at Highbury, and an international game when 7 of the team were Arsenal players. This is the sort of things that people want to know about. I wanted to know how it started. I wanted to know where it started. I wanted to know what it was like when we won league titles and stuff like that. These people are not interested, and it tells me that they're not fucking genuine. I believe that they're putting themselves as Arsenal fans because they know that there are so many Arsenal fans on social media. We're one of the biggest supported clubs on social media, if not the biggest, right? And in order for them to get traction with their social media accounts, they need to be seen as positive Arsenal fans. And it's the easiest way for them to do it is to be fake positive or positive negative Arsenal fans. By that, I mean that they back everything the club does, because it's not being positive to just blindly back everything this club does and accept mediocrity. Because a real fan, the ones that want this club to be successful, would not support this shit. They wouldn't. They'll be going, oh, hold on a minute. We finished 8th, and 5th, and you're telling me that's a success. Are you having a laugh? They would. Honestly, no word of a lie. And that's what I believe. I think they're doing it because they're not interested in the club. They're just interested in boosting their social media accounts. Simple as. Sarah said, my dad would be turning in his grave if he was here to witness what is happening to her club right now. Same as mine, Sarah. My dad would as well. And you're 100% right. It's absolutely shocking. And Warren and Sarah, I'm sorry that you lost your dad. I really am. And it's an awful thing to lose a parent. It really is. And my sympathies go to you. I really do. Warren, sorry, that was for you. I totally agree. The boos at this year's final, disgusting. Yeah, it is. And it's all about this instant gratification society that we live in. People want it now. They're not interested in anything like now. No, fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. And Jez, hey Jez, your grandfather's a true legend for attending the 1930 final. Exactly. Sarah Wingrove, it does really hurt when us real fans get slated for just wanting our Arsenal back and wanting the best for the club. And I keep saying it. When people start slating you, just ask them, why is it so wrong for me to want the best for my club? Why? Get them to explain it to you. Because they can't. Bargav says, on the history thing, I'm not the best at it, but Arsenal should do something about that. Some seminar, etc. Or put stuff on the website. It's shocking the lack of interest they have in this club. Liverpool, right? Liverpool Football Club, right? On their website, you can go in there. They've got a whole section about the history of the club, right? And it's impressive. It's good. But ours, they don't want to even acknowledge the fact that the club had a history prior to when they changed the crest. It's shocking. Static says, Warren, exactly. Arsenal themselves on social media have severely failed all Arsenal fans, young and old, to educate everyone every day. Yes, mate, 100%. Sarah says those Muppet fans need to go to the Arsenal Museum next time they're up at the Emirates. Maybe they will learn why we talk about our history so much. Yeah, they would, but I doubt any of them would. Manny says, if you don't know your history, at least have a willingness to learn. Yeah, but they don't. They're not interested. It's just not. And it worries me because I think they're like that about everything. And if you don't listen, if you don't learn the lessons of history, then you make the same mistakes that happened in the past. And this world's made some really horrific and horrible mistakes in its past. And God forbid that we ever make the same mistakes we did in the late 1930s over again. Manny says, he who knows not and knows not that he knows not is a fool. Avoid him. He who knows not and knows that he knows not is humble. Teach him. Exactly. 100%, mate. Couldn't put it any better. Well, thanks for saying that, man. Manny says, he who knows and knows not, he knows is asleep. Awake him. But he who knows and knows that he knows is wise. Follow him. 100%, mate. Nazia Malik, it's self-interest because they're after something for themselves. Yeah, like they're growing their social media platforms. That's what it's all about, mate. Well, that's what I think anyway. Talking of which, please put a like on the video if you haven't done it already. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks very much, guys. Anyway, let's move on because there's more to talk about. So, when I was doing this yesterday, I decided to put a bit more in. And I just wanted everyone to know, never, ever in my life will I swear allegiance to Mikel Arteta. Never. Because I can't. A lot of people have said, well, it's not personal. It is for me. Because he's holding this club back and he's destroying it. and I can't forgive him for it. I'm sorry, I can't. I might be wrong. It might be wrong of me to say that, but for me, it is personal, and I want him out as soon as possible. And I also want to tell everyone I love this club with every fibre of my being, and I will never ever stop fighting to return our club to its rightful place, which for me is at the summit of world football. Remember this, guys, it's Arsenal Football Club, not Arteta Football Club. All right? And Mikel Arteta and the senior management. Seeing as we were talking about Arteta, let's move on about talking about him and the senior management. So the strategy, we started off with a process that we were told we had to trust. Then it turned into Project Youth. I wonder what it's going to be now, because we've been linked to players over 25 years of age and over. For me, that's not a youth project. All right, youth projects when you're bringing players into the club who are like 22 years of age max. Then there's the nonsensical management decisions, like Edu paying £3.5 million for a player that was available for free. And then basically, I think the real title of the project is keep the management team in a job. That's, for me, I honestly believe that. All they're doing is trying to keep themselves in the job, because the main man, Stanley, he's nowhere to be seen. He doesn't give a shit. He's not interested. He doesn't want to know what's going on. So they're just allowed to run amok, and that's what they're doing. So, Mikel Arteta's nonsensical and confusing instructions. He's standing on the touchline and he's waving his arms all over the shop, whistling and shouting and screaming at players. And it's confusing people. They don't know what it is that they want, what he wants them to do. Therefore, it affects the performances on the pitch. And it's just absolutely shambolic. And other managers are sitting there and they're looking at him thinking, what the hell are you up to, mate? And Jess Collins, who's in the chat, has told us a few times on a few streams that he's done that he was at the Brighton game at Brighton right at the beginning of the season that's just gone. And he said he saw Graham Potter sitting there looking at Arteta, and he had this look on his face of, what the hell are you playing at? Like, he was just absolutely baffled, apparently. And then we had Ainsley Maitland-Niles, good friend of mine, went to the Wimbledon game in the League Cup earlier this year. And she was saying that he was shouting out all these instructions to players. And it also happened with Thomas Partey. Like, he's bulking out all these crazy instructions, and they're saying, well, what is it you want me to do? I'm doing what you're asking me. So what is the problem? And I remember after it happened, I said it, that Ainsley would be outed from this club, and he has been. And it's because that prick can't take criticism. It really is. He just can't handle being challenged. It's absolutely shocking. I mean, he's behaving like a fucking dictator. He really is. So, for me, Arteta is not the vaccine to Arsenal's problems, Julian. He is a cancer. So, with regards to his aeroplanes and all the rest of it, don't worry, Mikel. Stan is happy. Arsenal Airlines flight AA0505 has landed safely on the 5th runway. So, but Mikel's there. No, I wanted it landed on runway number 1. So for me, the whole management team have failed. Every single one of them. So in Final Judgment, failed again. So My predictions for the upcoming season, right? The FA Premier League, I think we'll finish 8th at best. The FA Cup, if we're lucky, we might get to the 4th round. Carabao Cup, I reckon we'll get through to the 3rd round. Well, I think we'll be in the 3rd round this time as start, but they'll probably get knocked out, I would have thought. The Europa League, I think we'll get to the 2nd knockout round, and I think that's when we'll... the Europa League will include sides that have dropped down from the Champions League, and then that's when I think we'll see Arsenal make a hasty retreat. So, next season, Arsenal eyeing the Championship next season, and I think that picture sums it all up there. That fella eyeing up the Championship as he's walking down the road. Absolutely shocking. And... yeah, so this, guys, I wanted to show you this because I'm going to be doing a series of shows about Arsenal Football Club, loosely based around an old British sitcom called 40 Towers. And I'm going to do this like sort of light-hearted look at the goings-on at Arsenal Football Club based around that, with the main characters of Arsenal placed into the characters in 40 Towers. I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious. I'm not trying to big myself up, but I do think it's going to be funny. So, you know, it'll be just a light-hearted look at what's going on. And that's why I wanted to show you this. So, Mikel, you spent over £300 million, said Stanley, and you still haven't done better than that Emery fella. Am I wasting my money here? How much more do you need to spend to get this club challenging for a title? Or is it just you, you horrible little man? So I think I'm going to give the final word about all this to my mate John and see what he's got to say. Before we do that, though, we've got some more chats. So James Steele, disgraceful, blaming multitude players for his own shortcomings, egotist. 100%, mate. He is. 100% he's an egotist. Ryan, the airlines laugh out loud. It's static. Yeah, mate. He is. It's like the way he rings his arms, flags his arms around. It's like he's landing bloody aeroplanes, like Jez said. Jez was the one who said that first. All right. So big up to Jez Collins, because he was the one that first said it, and it put it in my head that at one point I wanted to be able to do something about it. Conte also said he would offer to help Arteta, but we all know Arteta won't accept it as he's a fool. The thing is, Arteta is so fucking arrogant that he thinks he's got nothing to learn. He does. So he wouldn't accept any advice from anyone because he doesn't think he needs it. He's so fucking arrogant. Manny says, even if we manage to fluke the FA Cup or League Cup, it will not be enough for me. Champions League or bust. And I don't believe we'll compete for the Premiership at all. For me, he has to compete for a league title. But even then, I wouldn't back him. I wouldn't. Because the way he's treated people, I'm sorry, but it's not acceptable. The way he's if we won the Premier League title, I would not back him. I would not, because he spent so much money trying to get us there. And the way he's treated people is an absolute disgrace. And I'm sorry, but I'm about equality and treating people with fairness and respect and dignity, and he hasn't done that, not for 1 minute. And he will never compete for a league title. He won't get us into the Champions League. It's simple as that, because he's not good enough. James Steele, laughing emojis. Thank you, my man. James Steele. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Don't mention the war, sir. No, I'll try not to mention the war. I think I got away with it the first time. And Static says, laugh out loud. Nazi and Malik, absolutely, Warren. The Premier League is the league. And Taib says, Manny, trust the process. Laugh out loud. No, I ain't trusting no fucking process. Just get out and get this club competing, right? Tuchel was here for a week and he already had Chelsea with an identifiable style of play. It's shocking. Sounds like a good creative venture with the show. Best wishes with it. Thank you, Bargav. Manny, who knows not and who knows not that he knows not. Yeah, it's something like that, mate. And Warren, you missed a few comments before I mentioned it before, that Conte did criticise Arteta for complaining too much to the referees when we lost in the derby. He's been doing that for almost 3 years. It's because he's not competent and he's trying to scapegoat people. Let me see if I can see those comments you're on about. Oh yeah, I've seen them. Right, so thank you, Warren. You're welcome, Sarah. Dave says, Warren, would it take it? What would it take to actually educate fans that accept mediocrity? Is there anything they would actually take on board and say, yeah, you were right about Arsenal winning trophies? Probably not. Manny says, preach, sir. Well, I'm not trying to preach. I just want to let people know what I think. Well said, Warren, says James Steele. Who hired him? How did they decide on selecting a novice? 3 years in, he still can't win over players. It's because he thinks, I believe, that he's got nothing to learn. And it's the players that are the problem, not him. That's the issue. And the ones who hired him, you're right, Nazir, it's the management team, and Stanley Kroenke and whatnot, because they ain't got a clue about football and they don't care. They just here to get the big bucks. Static. Warren, you forgot the other strategy. Be excited. It's ridiculous. Ha ha ha. It is ridiculous. Be excited. Be excited about finishing 8th. I don't think so. Stack says, remember what Conte said in the derby when he lost? Arteta complains too much. Yeah, he does, and he was 100% right. And that's from a world-class manager who knows what he's doing. And if we had him as our manager, because we could have done, we would be challenging for a title, the same as what we would have been if we'd had Emery as our manager. Arteta directing Aeroplane since December 2019. Laugh out loud, says Taib. You're right, mate, 100%. That's what he's been doing from bloody day one. I don't understand why he doesn't get this over to players before the game starts. No, I don't see any other manager carrying on like that. And the ones who do stand on the touchline barking out orders, they're not doing it non-stop for the whole 90 minutes. They're just doing it like a little bit here and there. Do you know what I mean? When it's necessary, not like for the whole bloody 90 minutes. And Conte also said Arteta was new in the job. Yeah, he did. I remember him saying that. Right, okay, so let's scroll back down to where we were, because I think I've gone through all the ones I missed. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. Yeah. And Static says, excellent show, Warren. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, mate. Thank you, Static, by the way. Manny says, I'm so happy that Aubameyang will be competing next season in the Champions League with a proper club and a proper manager. Yes, 100% he will be. And you watch him bang it next season. Taib says, if you must cross a crowded cow crossing, cross the, what the fuck is that? I'm not reading all that. Dave, why are you doing that to me, man? Right, anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you something, another little clip. My mate John gives you his thoughts about this club. So let's have a look at that.
No smoking on the premises? Fucking hell, needs torching. That new emblem, right? I'm sorry, I grew up a proper gooner. Look at that plastic fucking cannon made in Italy. It's a joke. That's sad. You have let me down, you fucking bastards. I grew up supporting you, and I get that. The fucking thing's facing the wrong way.
And I have to say, I 100% agree with everything John said. I fucking hate that stadium with a passion because it fucking, for me, it sums up everything that's wrong with this club, right? Fucking soulless, fucking, it's a fucking tool in which they can extract as much money as they can from the paying customer, because we are customers to them. We're not supporters. And they can't even get a fucking emblem right. It's going facing the wrong fucking way. He's right. For years and years, we've had the crest the way it was that's on his head, on John's head there. And now they've got the cannon pointing the other way round. It's fucking, it's insane. And it's embarrassing and insulting, to be quite honest. So, Static Warren, I have to go in a minute. Keep up the good work. You're welcome. We're nearly finished now, Static. Static says Warren Johnny's a legend. He's absolute top man, mate. Honestly, I love the fella. And John Harfax is Static. And Manny says class. Yeah, it was. It just fucking summed it up perfectly for me. Ty Warren Guendouzi was our Vieira type player, but Arteta decided to part ways with him. Arteta out. Yeah, well, you know, he didn't like it because Guendouzi had a bit of balls about him. That was the problem. And he wanted him out. So, because he knew he was going to be a problem for him. But it's no surprise to see that Guendouzi's getting calls up for the French national team. He's performing well at Marseille. And I think only one other manager has had a bit of an issue with him, but they've managed to sort it out. So, just shows you what a proper manager can do. John Steele, the hipster's choice. Hipsters coming in and pushing out the real history. Crap fashion and crap football. Yeah, because the thing is, the football is just a minor inconvenience to the real thing. It's like a fucking fashion outlet now. It is. It's a fucking fashion outlet. The amount of merch drops. You wait and see. I won't be surprised there's not another merch drop before the season starts. And it won't be the new kits either. Nazia says, thank you, Anges. You guys make sense. These blind can't string any facts. These blind can't string any facts together. Thank you, my man. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you. So, let's Football is an afterthought. Yeah, it is, James. They're not interested in it at all. They're just interested in ripping us away from as much of our money as they possibly can. Well, they ain't getting any of my fucking money, I'm telling you that now. Taib says, when a team has a very talented player at their disposal, you just don't get rid. Well, yeah, try telling that to Arteta, because he will. If he can extract some money for it, because I think, and Kenny Ken said it perfectly last night when he said that this whole Project U thing is about building players up to their maximum value and then selling them on for the optimum amount of profit. And that's why they're doing it. It's 100% that, because they did this a few years ago under Wenger as well. And they're doing it again now. So they're not interested in winning trophies. They're not doing it for that. And the red flag for me for this was when Kroenke bought the club, bought into the club. He said, listen, I didn't buy into this club to win trophies. And he didn't. He just did it to make money. That's all he's in it for. He's not interested. I'm telling you, not interested. In fact, the opposite. Anything that's going to harm the profit margins that he's going to make, he's not interested in. That's why I don't think he wants us to get Champions League football. I don't. I honestly don't believe that he wants us to get Champions League football, because in order for us not to be embarrassed when we go into it, he's going to have to spend shitloads of money, and he's not prepared to do it. Static Warren, keep fighting a good cause. Good, be so proud of you. I hope so, mate. I hope he's looking up there, looking down on me, smiling, saying, go on, Ron, you tell him so. So, yeah, fair play to him. Rest in peace, Claude. Rest in peace, Claude. Yeah, 100%. So, the final judgment in total for me is it's been a complete and utter failure from top to bottom. The only bit of it that hasn't been a failure is the real fans who want success, real success. Success when we're challenging for and winning titles. The rest of it, complete and utter embarrassing failure. And love to stream, sir. I feel sick having missed your last one. Quality as always. Well, you can always go and check it out, mate. I'm gonna, when I finish doing this stream, I'm gonna put a link in it so you can check out the previous one, part 3. So you'll be able to go and check it out on playback. And it will be in my playlist. I think it's under Arsenal. There's a playlist. I've got a playlist called Arsenal, I think, or something like that. And you'll be able to see it. If you click go in there, you'll be able to find them all. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed my 4-part review of Arsenal's season for 2021-22. Thanks ever so much for watching, and thanks very much for engaging. Please don't forget to put a like on the video. It really, really helps. Also, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please remember to pass it around, share it around. What am I going to be on next? Not sure, actually, at this stage. I want to do something about the transfers that we've done and the players we've been linked to, and have a look at them in a bit of detail about what they like, what they, what their records have been, and have a chat about whether they're going to be any good for Arsenal or not. And then I want to revisit my England's Most Successful Club series, which I started when I first started doing YouTube, and update it for the season just gone, and give you an update on the positions in that. I think that would be interesting. And some of the earlier videos, I might redo them and put them out again, because I wasn't as proficient with the graphics as I was now when I was doing them before, and I just want to try and soup them up a bit. Anyway, guys, I hope you're good. I hope you've had a great day. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Thanks very much for watching. Static says we're on exactly a total failure, except for every real Arsenal fan that continues to raise the standards. Yes, 100%, mate. We have to keep on at that. Static says we're on. Take care. Arteta out. 100%. Get him out. Get them all out. The whole bloody lot of them. Him, Vinay, Edu, Garlic Head. And did I say Edu? I think I did, didn't I? And last but not least, the Cronkies as well. Get them out too. Take care, everyone. Like and subscribe. Yeah, please do that, guys. And Nazia Malik says the Cronkies, the board, and the entire management team are the rock. Thanks, Warren. You're very welcome, sir. I hope you enjoyed it. James says, been great to have a bit of sanity, mate. Cheers, me, old China. Stay safe to one and all. Yeah, exactly. Stay safe, guys. Look after yourselves and all your friends and family. Remember, keep talking. And also, please share some love and kindness around the world. And enjoy the rest of your day. And Static says, Ron, Lewis out too. Yeah, all of them out, mate. So thanks, guys, very much for watching. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.